And we're back. It is the NFL season here at week number 1 of the 2025 NFL season. Here we go. We are back for another year. Last year, we had a good year with the NFL. We did. Looking for an even better year this time around. Of course, we start week number 1 with 16 games starting on Thursday night with the Eagles, Cowboys. Friday night, Chiefs versus Chargers. Sunday night, Ravens versus Bills. Monday night, Vikings, Bears, and of course, 12 other games as well, not on prime time. And before we get into the full week 1 predictions, folks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more weekly NFL predictions here on the channel. We have also posted our college football weekly predictions here on the channel this week, week number 2, over 3.5 hours long of college football predictions. Go make sure to check that out. That is linked in the description down below. It's a very long video and there's some really good stuff in there, I believe. Also, on Greedo Plays, daily MLB best bets, and if you are back for this season of NFL predictions and you have not seen, we have made I made my own MMA channel, Greedo Plays MMA. That is linked in the description down below. A more MMA centered channel with Dana White's Contender Series predictions and UFC Paris Imavov versus Borjaio predictions as well. Okay, on now to the first of 16 games here in week number 1. Let's go. New graphics. Here we go. Yes. Cowboys and Eagles in week number 1. It is opening night. I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm taking them to cover 7.5 points too. It is the second, they are the second biggest favorite of the entire week, only behind, I believe, the Denver Broncos against the Tennessee Titans, and it makes sense, right? The Eagles defending their world championship. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl last year against the Kansas City Chiefs. What a season. Jalen Hurts, right? Guys, if Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl this year, I know it's still week 1, if the Eagles win a Super Bowl this year, and obviously Jalen Hurts is a big reason to that, we're going to have to start having some uncomfortable conversations about where Jalen Hurts is on the all-time quarterbacks ranking. Again, we have a long way to go. I'm just going to put that out there right now in week number 1. They're going to beat the Dallas Cowboys. I have no doubt in my mind that they won't beat the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are only in this spot because they're the Cowboys. Okay, and what a weird offseason for Dallas. You trade Micah Parsons. I'm not thrilled with what Dallas has got. Oh, they got George Pickens in the offseason. Sure, that's great. Dak is bound to bounce back. I mean, there's a trend with Dak Prescott. 1 year he's great, 1 year he's horrible. Not horrible. 1 year he's great, 1 year he's putting up mediocre numbers, and it's back and forth. This is the year where it should be really good numbers from Prescott, and I agree that's probably going to happen. My thing, though, with the Cowboys is Prescott can play really well, and the team will still win 8-9 games. You know? Their defense is nothing special. You bring back a lot of the secondary pieces, right? You re-sign Deron Bland. You still got Travion Diggs. You know, you get a guy. You got Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker in the secondary. Not a big fan of their, front seven. I mean, Kenny Clark's here now. Cool, he's old. You know, you have the best kicker in football, obviously, either Brandon Aubrey or Dicker, the kicker from Los Angeles. But I look at this offense. Again, you get George Pickens. That's awesome. It's another target for Prescott, a much-needed second target. The run game, man, Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders and Jaden Blue are your 3 running backs. I assume it's going to be a lot of Javonte Williams early. I like Jake Ferguson. I think he's a really capable tight end. It's just not a team I'm in love with this year. And I look at Philadelphia. Well, I mean, they're essentially just running things back this year. Saquon Barkley just got named the #1 player in professional football in the NFL last year on the top 100 list. This receiving core, obviously, still A.J. Brown, still Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback in the game of football right now. You still have an amazing offensive line, one of the best in football. I know they've dealt with some injuries in this offseason, but it should be good enough. And we got to talk about the defense. I mean, they are just absolutely loaded. It's still, I believe, right now the best team in the NFL. And again, we have a long season ahead, and there's a lot of things that can or cannot go the right way for Philadelphia. But I'll be damned if they don't win on week 1 against Dallas. And oh yeah, they're going to cover the spread as well. It is a 7.5 point spread for Philadelphia. Would I play it personally? The answer is no. I wouldn't play it. You know, if you want to bet on something on Thursday night, go bet on baseball. I don't love the 7.5 for Philadelphia and Dallas. Oh, I forgot to mention earlier in the video, we're going to do our best bets for the NFL weekly as well. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Probably on Saturdays. We're going to have best bets for the NFL each week. Had to get that one out the way. This is just not a game I'd bet on. Opening night, Philly should win. Philly should blow them out. I have a weird, I could see a weird, situation where Dallas is, covering with the last second touchdown. Philly should win and they should cover. It's just not my favorite game to bet on. Yes, the Eagles are levels ahead of the Dallas Cowboys. But Prescott and that offense can keep them in the game. I'm going with Philly to win and cover, but it's not my favorite game of the week to bet on. I much rather bet on this game. From Sao Paulo, Brazil, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Los Angeles Chargers. This game's going to be insufferable to watch. Insufferable. Why? Because Travis Kelce is marrying Taylor Swift. Oh, yay. We don't care. But that's the only thing they're going to talk about. Oh my God, Taylor Swift in Brazil. Oh my God. Who cares? You know who's on a generational run right now? And he threw 3 interceptions in the playoffs last year? Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's on the biggest generational run any quarterback or any human alive can be on, okay? Let's call it how it is, Justin Herbert's out here living my dream life. But it's okay, The Chargers and Chiefs are in Brazil, and yes, the Chiefs are losing this game. Guys, I think this is the year, and I know this is going to sound very reminiscent of when people thought, the Patriots dynasty was over this year. It's over now. The teams in the AFCs to finally caught up to New England when Brady was there, and obviously they never did until Brady left. And look at Bill Belichick in North Carolina yesterday. That's neither here or there. I actually do believe this is the year the Chargers and the Broncos are right there with Kansas City. Now, could Kansas City still win the division? 100% they could. Right? And I think they still have to be the favorites. To me, though, if I'm picking the AFC West champions right now, I am picking the Denver Broncos. And I think the Los Angeles Chargers are going to be right in there as well. I believe Kansas City, Denver, and Los Angeles are all making the playoffs like last season. I don't think it's that crazy to say the Chiefs could be 3. I think they're going to be 2. I think it's going to be Denver, Kansas City, Los Angeles. Just because I don't trust in the Chargers' ability to win football games down the stretch. I think Los Angeles will get in the playoffs. I think they'll probably be the 6th seed. I think Kansas City will be 5, and I think Denver is going to be like 2. But I think, again, the Chargers and Broncos are going to make strides this year, man. They're going to. I think Denver might do it this year. The Chargers are, they're a weird squad. You bring back Keenan Allen. I want to see Keenan Allen getting all of the reps as the X receiver over Quentin Johnston, right? And Quentin Johnston, let's eliminate as many snaps as we can take off of Quentin Johnston and put them on Keenan Allen. I get it, Allen's unk at this point, but at least Keenan Allen can still catch the football. But as a whole, though, are we impressed by what the Chargers have offensively? No, we're not. You add a Marion Hampton, which is great. You're going to have him and Najee Harris. Justin Herbert, right, can be elite. Will he, though? There's a reason they call him If Man, right? If Justin Herbert had more talent, if he had a better run game, if he had better receivers, well, this one's a fact. If he didn't have to throw to Quentin Johnston all the time, right? Herbert is very capable. Do not get me wrong. Had a tremendous season last year that does not get talked about because of the way his season ended. Justin Herbert threw 3 interceptions all year long last season and then went in there and threw 4 in a playoff game. There's a reason Los Angeles last year, they were the 5 seed. They were the top wild card last year in the AFC, and I think they're going to be back in that spot. This year is just the 7. I'm not. We'll see how much Justin Herbert can carry them is what I'm trying to get to here. And I think Omarion Hampton can make a huge difference. I don't know if Najee Harris is going to play on opening day on Friday, and I think they're beating the Chiefs. I think they're going to. Guys, Kansas City, I'm not buying into, they have, Hollywood Brown back. He's 100%. Oh, Rashee Rice is here, but he's suspended for 6 games. But, I'm not buying this. Oh, okay, well, they got Worthy. They got, Brown. I didn't even realize Juju's back. This happened. I didn't even know they re-signed Juju. I thought he was still a free agent. But again, that goes to show, this receiving core, they're just essentially running back last season. And that's awesome. Patrick Mahomes, again, is a generational talent. He's the best quarterback, 2nd, 3rd, 4th best quarterback in football right now. They're regressing. Nobody's telling me otherwise. Yeah, they won the AFC last year. Yeah, they did. Unimpressively, they did. And my thing with the Chiefs is this season, and I'm not a Chiefs hater. I'm not. Every team is getting better right now in the AFC. I can't trust in the Ravens. The Bills, only getting better, even though they didn't put too many pieces around Josh Allen. They're trying, I guess. The Chargers are getting better. The Broncos are very good. I think Denver, Bo Nix is going to make that 2nd-year leap, I believe. And that defense, we'll talk about them later. Denver's right there with the Chiefs this season. They really are. And Los Angeles is too, right? Every team in the AFC West is going to be good. except for the Vegas Raiders. But that's neither here or there. We'll talk about them in a little bit. Travis Kelce and likely his last season. I don't know. Is it going to be a storybook? Oh, he's, storybook retirement year, or is he just going to be very mid like he was last year? I don't know. Defense is not bad. And the defense is actually, no, I can't say it's not bad. It's one of the best defenses in football. Because we cannot forget how bad the offense was last year. Mahomes did not put up good numbers last year. He didn't. Patrick Mahomes, guys, was a mediocre quarterback in 2024. We'll see what he does in 2025. I think the Chargers win here in week 1 in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I believe the Chargers right now are better than Kansas City. And what I mean by that is, okay, the Chiefs as the season goes on, you get Rashee Rice back. Offense is way more developed. They probably are going to be better than the Chargers, in December. Right now, I'm going Los Angeles to win. And again, right, Justin Herbert is just on a generational run, so why wouldn't it continue? Give me Los Angeles Chargers money line to win the game outright here in Brazil, plus 140 for the Chargers to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. We move on now to our third game, and we move now to Sunday. First game of the week, the Washington Commanders host the New York Giants. Good on Washington, man. Good on them. What a year last year. NFC Championship berth when nobody thought you could get there. And through a, offseason filled with contract disputes and discussions about Terry McLaurin, they have brought him back. That's the only thing they needed to do in the offseason. They did exactly that. They brought back Terry McLaurin, and now Washington's back and ready to compete again. I like the defense. I do. I think, defense is just as good as it was last year. And now you add a guy, and it is the unction there. But you add Von Miller now to the defense. Von Miller and Bobby Wagner on the same team in 2025 and Marshawn Lattimore. It's an unction on defense. But you have experience. And the offense, right? Deebo Samuel's going to help. Deebo Samuel has lost weight. He's not fat anymore. He's going to really help out this team. Truly, he will. McLaurin is back. The run game, you trade Brian Robinson because you knew he was going to be third string here. And now you've got either Austin Eckler or Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt as your starting running back. For all of the fantasy football hype that Krosky-Merritt got, obviously the rookie out of the University of Arizona, 7th round pick, the starting running back is going to be Austin Eckler. You will see Krosky-Merritt, and you're probably going to see Jeremy McNichols as well. But the starting running back, yes, it is Austin Eckler. I don't expect them to use Eckler that much, but he is definitely going to start at least the first couple weeks of the year. They'll beat the New York Giants. Games in Washington. The Giants aren't good. Malik Neighbors, obviously an elite receiver in football. Other than that, we said it last year. He was the lone bright spot of the New York Giants. You bring in Russell Wilson. Okay, well, you had the three amigos at one point in New York, in Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston, Tommy DeVito. They released Tommy DeVito. He's now in New England with the Patriots. But you do have a deep quarterback room. It's just, Russ is your starter. I don't know how far Russell Wilson can really take this team. I think Jackson Dart's going to be a player. I think he's going to be a player in this league for a very long time. Russ is just put in an unfortunate situation of the fact where Russ is going to be the starting quarterback for the first 10 weeks. And the Giants will probably be like 3-7. He'll be quarterback the first 10 games, and then Jackson Dart will come in week 11, week 12, and there will be no expectation for Jackson Dart. And they can go into an offseason where, okay, we're feeling good about ourselves. We've gotten a taste of what Jackson Dart can do, and now we're going to build around Jackson Dart. Again, Russell Wilson's been put in the unfortunate situation after leading a team to the playoffs last year in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, in all fairness, a lot of quarterbacks could lead the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs, but Russ has been put into a situation now where you're taking a team that's just not that good. Yeah, Malik Neighbors is here. Slayton's back again, but it's not a developed offense. Tyron Tracy and Devin Singletary are your backs with Cam Scatterbo. I'm not impressed, all right? Washington is the better football team. We all know they are. Games in D.C. or in Landover, Maryland. Soon it's going to be RFK. That's fire. But games in Maryland, the Commanders should absolutely dominate, and we will see what second-year Jaden Daniels will be. I believe he's not going to do what C.J. Stroud did last year, and what Stroud did, obviously, was take a step back. I believe Jaden Daniels is going to further cement himself as one of the best quarterbacks in football. That's what he's going to do, because Jaden Daniels is that talented. Last year was not a fluke, no. Because, guys, Jaden Daniels now, in 2025, just has more weapons. He does. He's got, I believe, a better running back room. Eckler and Krosky-Merritt, I think, will do the job. I think Deebo Samuel is going to be a huge number 2 for this team. Guys, Jaden Daniels goes from his number 2 being either Noah Brown or Luke McCaffrey to Deebo Samuel. I don't care how bad Deebo was in the Bay Area. I don't care that he was fat. He's not fat anymore. They are much improved. They are. I'd argue they're going to win the NFC East because nobody wins the NFC East in back-to-back seasons. I really like Washington this year, man. They are my picks to win the NFC East. I think they're going to go fairly far this year. And Jaden Daniels, again, will make that next step because he is just that good. Washington Commanders will win the football game, and they're going to cover 6.5. The Giants, unfortunately for them, are just nowhere close to the level of the Commanders. Okay, on to our next one. We go to two teams that probably won't be in the playoffs. For as much as I would like to say the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to the playoffs this season, we have to just be a realist about this. They probably won't. But at the same time, guys, the AFC South is so horrible. It is. Okay, Houston Texans, not sold. They were the best of the worst last year. That's not a good football team. Nobody's telling me otherwise. Oh, Nico Collins is back. Yeah, he is. Texans are so unimpressive, okay? Indianapolis Colts, I'm just wearing the jersey. I'm not a Colts fan. I love Michael Pittman, one of my favorite players in the league. But I can't trust in the Colts to go very far this year. I'm not going to fall for it again with Indianapolis. There's a reason Pat McAfee is not even going to games anymore, right? And now this year is for Irsay. I get that. But we can't expect anything out of Indianapolis. And I know for damn sure, I like Cam Ward. Cam Ward's a good football player. The Titans are going to win no more than 4 games in 2025. So here comes the Jags, who on paper I believe are the second best. No, they're the third best team in the division, aren't they? It's probably still Texans, Colts, Jags, just like last year. We'll see what the Jaguars are in 2025. I want to believe in the Jags. I want the Jaguars to do very well because I want to watch Travis Hunter have a good 2025. Now, let's not talk about his off the field problems with his personal life. You know what? Never mind. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Whatever. I like Travis Hunter, the football player. There are not many more fun football players to watch than Travis Hunter. Now, to what extent will Travis Hunter play both ways? I think it's going to be very limited. He's going to play every down on offense, and I think there are going to be some sets when third and longs where Travis Hunter will go into the game at corner, especially because of the fact, well, Jacksonville's got nothing going for them right now. The big media thing around them is that they have the Heisman Trophy winner who went both ways last year and did actually play every single down on both offense and defense, but obviously it's the National Football League. You probably won't be able to do that. That's okay. Hunter's going to be a good receiver for this team. I think if he fully commits to being a receiver for this team, I think he's going to be even better. Now, was it worth the draft pick, or was it worth trading up and giving up next year's first-round pick for it? I don't know. But you did go out here and you did get a guy who can be a potential face of the league, and that does mean something. And Travis Hunter does have breakaway speed. Travis Hunter does have, he's a guy who can beat any corner off the football, I believe. Pat Surtain. There are going to be corners that are going to beat up on Travis Hunter, but to an average NFL cornerback, Travis Hunter is going to win, and he's going to get separation, I believe, because of the moves. He's better than you think he is. Trust me. And now he's got Trevor Lawrence throwing him the football. Now, Shedeur Sanders should be a starter in the NFL as well. After the last preseason game, I don't think I can say that. But Shedeur Sanders was a great quarterback for Travis Hunter. Trevor Lawrence is going to be better. I love Shedeur. I do. Huge Shedeur fan. Trevor Lawrence might be one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks in all of football because of the fact that he plays in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars aren't able to win games year in and year out because of the lineup they put around him. Now, you give him Brian Thomas, you give him Travis Hunter, you still have Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne out of the backfield. Okay. Line's getting better as well. I don't know. The defense is going to hold them back because their defense is not very good. Offensively, though, tell me Jacksonville can't be a good offensive football team in 2025. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is put in that spot, right? He signs the big contract extension last offseason. He was very mediocre last year, got injured halfway through the year, and then Mac Jones had to start the second half of the year for Jacksonville. Okay, if Trevor Lawrence can just stay healthy, I think we forget how good this guy is. Now, I haven't even talked about the Carolina Panthers yet this video or this prediction, just because I don't have much to say about the Carolina Panthers. I hope nothing but the best for Carolina. I think they're going to be a decent team, if that. I think they probably finished third in the NFC South behind Tampa, Atlanta, and then them, and obviously New Orleans in last place. Bryce Young, I'm glad Bryce Young established himself as the quarterback for this team because there were a lot of doubts last season, but Bryce Young, has established himself as a franchise guy. If he has a good season here in 2025, he's going to play his way into a contract extension. Good for him. Legitimately, Bryce Young is a talent. And you add Teteroa McMillan, obviously the first-round draft pick out of the University of Arizona, that's talent. Tet McMillan is that good. I didn't love the trade of Adam Thielen because I think, Thielen's in Minnesota. He's going to do wonders over there, being a great number 3 for that team with him, Addison, obviously, and Justin Jefferson. I don't love Carolina getting rid of Adam Thielen. Bryce Young loved throwing the ball to Adam Thielen. He was a guy, and I get it, he's got Tet now, but that's the guy he'd always go to. Chuba Hubbard's back, okay. Rico Dowdle's your backup running back. They've got guys. It's just, I don't believe in the team that much. And they're going to be one of these teams where they're going to be good enough to upset some squads. Just in games where they need to win, though, they're not going to, right? I don't think they go to Jacksonville and win week 1. I don't think they go to Arizona next week and win. They'll probably beat Atlanta in week 3, though, right? That's the type of team I believe Carolina is going to be this season. A team that's going to find ways to win football games. They're going to be a scrappy bunch, but they're not going to go to Jacksonville and win. It's a new era in Jaguars football. Lawrence Hunter and Brian Thomas are going to come through. Jags to win and to cover 3.5 points. On now to our 5th game of the week. We go now to East Rutherford, New Jersey, as Aaron Rodgers returns to New York to take on the New York Jets. This is automatic. Pittsburgh Steelers money line, Pittsburgh Steelers spread. They're not losing to the Jets. I don't know what to expect out of Aaron Rodgers in 2025, okay? But what I do know is that he's got DK Metcalf on his team now. And yeah, he had Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson last year, sure. You're throwing the ball at DK, though, now. And yeah, again, is Garrett Wilson better than DK Metcalf? I don't know where I'd put them kind of right next to each other, honestly. I don't know how Rodgers in Pittsburgh won't work. In terms of, this team's over 500 every single year. They make the playoffs every single year as a wild card, and they always get first rounded. It is what it is, but they always get there. They're like the Miami Heat of the NFL. Oh, we're always in the playoffs, but first round, we're getting bitched. I mean, why wouldn't that happen this year with Aaron Rodgers? And for the first time since leaving Green Bay, and really for the first time since 2020, Aaron Rodgers is put in a position where he's expected, or since 2021, Aaron Rodgers is put in a position where he's expected to play January football and play in the postseason. It's something that was, it was talked about in New York, but ultimately we knew again last year in New York after week 6 that wasn't going to be the case. Jalen Warren and Caleb Johnson out the backfield. I believe the former Iowa Hawkeye running back and Caleb Johnson will eventually win that starting job. I firmly believe in his talent, and I do believe he's a really good running back that no one's really talking about yet. Trust me, people will know about Caleb Johnson sooner rather than later. The receiving core beyond DK Metcalf is a great no. You add Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith, and as I've seen a lot at a Steelers camp, Rodgers and Tomlin, they are very impressed with Jonnu, who had a breakout year last year. I don't know if breakout's the right way to call it, but Jonnu was great last year for the Miami Dolphins at 29. He's 30 now, and he's going to be better, I think. I don't know if he's going to be better in Pittsburgh because, playing in Miami is obviously great for a tight end. Regardless, I believe Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth, that 1-2, and they have Darnell Washington too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe Jonnu and Pat Freiermuth are going to do numbers in Pittsburgh. The Jets, there's just the Jets, I think Breece Hall is actually going to have a better year this year. I think so. Even though after a bad year last year, let's just call it how it is. What am I supposed to say about the New York Jets? Oh, they're gonna be better now with Justin Fields. That's not a hit on Justin Fields at all. I like Justin Fields. I'm glad he's a starting quarterback in the NFL again. He's put in such a bad situation. Guys, if the Jets weren't able to win with Aaron Rodgers, how are they gonna win with Justin Fields? I mean, this is gonna remind you of the Zach Wilson years, where it's not really the quarterback's fault, but the Jets need to pin it on somebody because it's never the coaching, it's never the organization, it's never the team, it's never the front office, it's always the quarterback in New York. It's what happened to Zach Wilson. It's what happened to Aaron Rodgers. Don't forget, the Jets won more football games with Zach Wilson than they did with Aaron Rodgers. Zach Wilson had a way better winning percentage as the New York Jets quarterback than Aaron Rodgers did. Aaron Glenn's now the head coach, defensive coordinator last season for the Detroit Lions. It's awesome. What am I supposed to say about the Jets? Like they said, the same offense. Their defense is not that much better from last year. Oh, Sauce is still around. Sure, okay. He's billed as one of the best corners in football, and he is there. He's not the best corner in football. That's PS2 over there in Denver, Colorado. Again, I'm telling you this year, the Broncos, that's a scary team in Denver. They are bringing back the days of those dominant defenses with Von Miller. They should have just brought back Von Miller this year to usher in the new young core that's going to rule over the AFC West, I believe. Again, trust me, playing in Denver is going to be scary again. It really is. Especially with Bo Nix. I've bought in on Bo Nix this season, by the way, guys. I don't trust the Jets to do anything. Pittsburgh's good defensively. The Jets will not score. Oh, the Jets defense isn't bad, sure. Rodgers has seen these guys a million times. You tell me Aaron Rodgers is not beating his former team here? Come on now. They pushed him out the door, and somehow Rodgers, who won 4 games last year, goes from playing for the 4-win Jets to a playoff team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Best case scenario for him, Steelers win the football game, and they cover in East Rutherford as well. Give me Pittsburgh minus 2.5. On it to our next game, we go to Foxborough, to Gillette Stadium, New England Patriots versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Hesitantly, I'll take the Patriots. I wouldn't bet on this game at all. I don't like it on either side. I think there's definitely a pathway to the Vegas Raiders winning. The story of the Raiders offseason, I guess, is, Pete Carroll coming in, Tom Brady's influence now on the team, and you have Geno Smith now as your starting quarterback. Aiden O'Connell's out for the first 8 weeks, so they trade for Kenny Pickett from Cleveland. It's a good move. Pickett's a very respectable backup in this league, I do believe. The Raiders obviously have a good young core. And this is what I keep saying about the AFC West. These teams are going to start catching up to the Chiefs. This will not be the year the Raiders catch up. Next year, though. Next year might be that year. However, call me a hater. I don't think the Raiders window can start until Geno Smith is no longer their quarterback. Guys, that's not your franchise guy. I don't dislike Geno. I don't at all. But Geno did nothing all that impressive last year in Seattle. He wasn't, okay? He was a serviceable quarterback, not a guy that I would, jump at and say, I need to have him as my quarterback. Yeah, he threw for like 4,000 something yards. He threw 15 picks and 21 touchdowns. I mean, it's just not a good QBR last year for Geno Smith. Yeah, he threw for yards, because his team was losing in every single game that they played. So yeah, no wonder he had a lot of yards. Is Geno Smith a starting quarterback in the NFL? Oh yeah, he is. I'm just saying, a 34-year-old Geno Smith has not taken the Raiders to the playoffs, especially in this division, which may be the best in all of football, other than probably the AFC North. Or the NFC, not the NFC West. Yeah. I forgot. The NFC North is by far the best division in football. By far. But I don't think their window can start until Geno's gone. And I get what Geno is. He's a bridge player. The thing is, I don't love Geno being a 3-year starter for this team, because that's the contract extension they gave him. And it makes sense, sure, right? Pete Carroll, the head coach, he wanted Geno in Seattle. He got Geno in Seattle, and now he gets him in Las Vegas. They've got a very good young core of guys. Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers. I mean, it probably won't happen. There's a chance Ashton Genty could be the best running back in football this season. Brock Bowers probably is the best tight end in all of football. Their defense, I don't love their secondary. I don't. Obviously, you can get Max Crosby. You're starting Devin White. I guess that's a Tom Brady move. I can guarantee you it. That's a Tom Brady move. I can guarantee you that starting 31-year-old Landon Roberts is a Tom Brady move as well. Trust me, Brady got his guys. Landon Roberts used to play fullback for the Patriots back in the day. Caught a touchdown pass from Tom Brady back in the day as well. Shout out to the 2019 Patriots, and then he went to leave for Miami in 2020. Made no sense. Those just have Brady signings all over it. Jacoby Myers is sitting out apparently. Got the contract dispute. We will see if he plays week 1. Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the latest is on Jacoby Myers. So in turn, they go out and they get Amari Cooper. So I don't think Jacoby Myers is playing this week. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. It doesn't change the prediction. You get Amari Cooper. I don't know what Amari Cooper gives you in 2025, but he's around, I guess. That's the most I can say about that. Patriots, this is why I'm hesitant on this pick. They've got so many injuries. I don't think Stephon Diggs is playing week 1. Maybe he is, maybe he's not, but he's injured. Ramondre Stevenson, not like that really matters. Actually, kind of hope Travion Henderson's starting. But it's the Diggs injury. They've got injuries all across their defense. Like, is Christian Gonzalez playing in week 1? I don't know. I think Drake May's good. I don't think Drake May's as good as people are making him out to be. Just don't think so. Like, I don't think he's the level of a young quarterback of a Bo Nix or of, I don't even want to put Michael Penix in that conversation. I think Penix is good. I think he's better than Drake May, but it's just, I don't know why people are so quick to put Drake May in the conversation with, Bo Nix, with Jaden Daniels. Like, oh, this is their franchise guy. He probably is. I don't know. I don't think he's as good as people are making him out to be. I loved the pick in the draft for getting Will Campbell. Will Campbell's going to be a dog for the Patriots for so many years. But Not wowed on the Patriots right now. They'll beat the Raiders. Games in New England. It's the Brady Bowl, I guess. Even though Brady's going to be on commentary somewhere this week, even though, the Patriots are playing his team now in the Raiders. I think as the years go on, though, and here's the thing. I think as the years go on, I have a weird feeling Tom Brady's going to be the next head coach of the Raiders, I think. After Pete Carroll decides to hang it up probably in 3 years when Geno Smith is done, I think Tom Brady's going to be the next head coach. Just watch Brady's mannerisms at Raiders practice. I think he's going to take over the starting. I think he's going to take. Well, I hope he takes over the quarterback role. He's not going to. I think he's going to take over the head coach role in about 3 years. I think he'll get off that Fox contract and he'll officially step into a coaching role. You can just tell he wants to be out there. You just can't. Watch Raiders practice and watch how Brady's walking around. Yeah, you can tell he wants to be very involved with that football team. We'll see. That's his next challenge, right? Took the Bucs to the Super Bowl, 1-1. Now his next task is to take the Raiders to the Super Bowl, but not playing. Maybe he will. Nah, he's like 48 now. I wish. I hope. Probably not. Definitely not. Anyways, I'm taking the Patriots. Patriots -1, 2.5. I wouldn't bet on it. Not my favorite bet of the week. Next up, let's go to New Orleans. The Saints are the worst team in the NFL. They are. This team's just horrible. They have nothing that wows me. Alvin Kamara, he'll be good for the first 5 weeks, then he'll get injured, and he'll probably be out for the rest of the year. Chris Olave's an injury problem. I don't know what Olave's going to be. Rashid Shaheed got injured last year, but he can be solid, obviously deep threat. Brandon Cooks is back where it all started, I guess. That's cool, but Brandon Cooks in 2025 as a pure possession receiver doesn't move the needle for me. They decided to go with the Cock Commander as the starting quarterback. Yes, the Cock Commander, Spencer Rattler, wins the starting job over Tyler Shaw. Yeah, obviously. Tyler Shaw is not, he was not a second round talent. Did not see that at Louisville. I did not see in the preseason. Spencer Rattler's always been the better quarterback, and Rattler wins the starting job. Very well deserved. I don't know what's going on with the Saints. Why is Velus Jones playing running back for this football team now? Former volunteer receiver. They have him at RB now? Huh? Guys, I'm not going to tell you the Arizona Cardinals are going to be good this year. They're not. The best thing about the Cardinals this year are their jerseys, okay? Those beautiful eggshell, essentially, whatever the hell, the Desert Storm jerseys. Best jerseys in all of football. Love them. I hope they wear them week 1. They won't, because I think those are just against NFC West teams. But the Arizona Cardinals are 6.5-point favorites in New Orleans. Guys, I'm telling you right now, that's not because of the Arizona Cardinals. Nobody's that high on Arizona, okay? What will Kyler Murray be in, his 7th season as the Arizona Cardinals quarterback? It's been 1 year of winning football ever for Kyler Murray in Arizona. Not entirely his fault. This is just one of these teams that's stuck in mediocrity for forever. Marvin Harrison, you drafted him in the first round last year. That's great. Marv has a disappointing rookie season. Again, he was the number 4 overall pick. Marv, again, 800 yards, but was not a game changer for Arizona. I hope he is that game changer here in 2025. You got him, you got Michael Wilson, you got Zay Jones. It just feels like you're running back the same kind of mid-team. James Conner's back. Arizona made no moves that wows me. Oh, Calais Campbell's back. Great, guys. Calais Campbell was on the Arizona Cardinals team that went to the Super Bowl back in 2009, 2008. He's back at 39 years of age. Guys, this guy played with Kurt Warner, and he's back in Arizona. That's kind of fire, I'm not going to lie. Future Hall of Famer, most likely, Calais Campbell. That's pretty damn cool. But that's the most notable move they made. Trey McBride's a very good tight end. I'll give him credit. But the Cardinals will beat New Orleans because New Orleans sucks. Okay, this team is horrible. By far the worst team in the NFL. By far. And you even take away their Swiss Army knife in Taysom Hill. Hill's still out. You got guys in the defense, right? I mean, you got Kool-Aid McKinstry. You got Chase Young. You got Cameron Jordan again. Brian Breesy's back, obviously. You assigned Julian Blackmon and Justin Reed to your safety core. That's all right. But we knew this team wasn't held by the fact that they paid all their guys so much money. Derek Carr is still earning money this season, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously Carr retires, and now you got to go to the Cot Commander instead. Guys, remember when the Saints won their first 2 games last year and Derek Carr was getting MVP talks with Sam Darnold? I remember. That was something. And now look at them. We knew they were in salary cap hell, and here it is. This is what's, guys, and New Orleans, unfortunately for them, they're not getting out of this mess for the next 3 seasons. This is what the Saints are for the next 3 years. It is nothing but poverty. maybe they will try to put a Manning back in New Orleans. Maybe, just maybe. I don't know. Is Arch, though, really the number one quarterback in college football this season? No, it's Carson Beck. Anyways, give me Arizona, minus 6.5 points. Yeah, they're going to go on the road and cover. Don't forget, Arizona played really well last year in week 1 against Buffalo. They lost, but it's a team that does start fairly well, and New Orleans is not good. So give me Arizona to win and cover 6.5 points. Next up, we move to the Battle of Ohio. The Cleveland Browns host the Cincinnati Bengals. The line is 5.5. That's too much. The Browns are going to cover here. They will. Are the Browns a good football team in 2025? Likely not. I like Joe Flacco a lot. I'm glad he's here. The offense leaves a lot to be desired, but I do believe Jerry Jeudy can be a really big target in 2025 like he was obviously in 2024. Joe Flacco is definitely the best option at quarterback for this team right now. So you have Flacco, you got targets for him in Jeudy and Njoku, and don't forget again how much David Njoku got the football in 2023 from Joe Flacco. So Flacco goes from being the starter in Indianapolis last season to back being the starter in Cleveland. And obviously there's a little bit of hype from Browns fans, obviously, right? The huge Flacco run in 2023 that took them to the postseason. I hope nothing but the best for the Browns. I'm actually cheering for the Browns almost every single week. I think the addition of Harold Fannin, the tight end out of Bowling Green, is going to make a huge difference for this team. Now they can run 2 tight end sets and be so dangerous in those 2 tight end sets with both Njoku and Fannin. Obviously, the big story of the offseason, though, for the Browns was not Joe Flacco. It was not Harold Fannin. It was not anything else. Myles Garrett, kind of, but no, it was the fact that they drafted 2 quarterbacks. Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel are both on the roster. Will either of those guys get an opportunity this season? Probably. We just need to see how Flacco plays first. And again, yes, is Gabriel 100% getting the opportunity before Shedeur? Oh, yes. Do I agree with that? No. But that's how it's going to work. Browns defense, it is what it is. I actually don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. I think, you add Mason Graham, and by the way, you added a first-round pick on top of that. You get to still pick Mason Graham and also add a first-round pick from Jacksonville next season. Cool. I mean, I think if they got Travis Hunter, it'd be a lot better for this team right now, just because you're selling a bunch of tickets. You have Hunter and Shedeur on the same squad, and think of the receiving core now of Flacco the quarterback, obviously, receiving core of Jeudy, Tillman, and Njoku. Isaiah Bond, I think, can play. Obviously, weird offseason for him. And oh, by the way, Quinshon Judkins is here now. Another guy who had a weird offseason. And you also dropped Dylan Sampson from Tennessee. Huh? The reason why I'm taking them to cover against the Bengals is, guys, the Bengals go on the road and here's my thing. Every AFC North game is close. And I don't trust in the Cincinnati Bengals, who can't play defense, to go on the road and cover against the Browns. Oh, hell no. This game's going to be competitive. And the Browns are going to score, and they're going to score a lot of points. Okay? Flacco's going to look like it's 2013. No, 2012 on Sunday. He's going to. And Flacco just gets his mystique and his aura back about him because he's in Cleveland again. And the fans love him in the dog pound. And he was very good. And he was one of the best quarterbacks in football in 2023. Yes, with Cleveland he was. Difference now, though, is Joe Flacco's coming into the year as a starter. It's not like, oh, here he is in week 12. He's the starting quarterback because Deshaun Watson's hurt. No. Flacco's just the guy now, which I don't know how that's going to go. We know the Bengals are good, but their defense is a whole other issue. We know the Bengals' offense is good. We know Joe Burrow. You know Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You got Chase Brown. That's great. They're going to score a lot of points. They can't stop anybody defensively. Guys, my local high school team could probably score in the Cincinnati Bengals. Probably could, You've got the offseason controversy with Trey Hendrickson. My goodness, is the secondary horrible. My goodness, is the defense just in general horrible. You add Shamar Stewart in the draft, that's great. You then proceed to, you proceed to not give the guy money up front. They finally settled it, that's great, but he's only been signed now for about 2 weeks going into week number 1 of the NFL season. And my point with all this is, again, I don't care how bad or good the Cleveland Browns are supposed to be. The Cincinnati Bengals, this happened in 2023 where Deshaun Watson was the starting quarterback of the Browns. Cincinnati goes into Cleveland week 1, they are 3-point favorites, and they outright lose the football game. It is hard to win on the road in the AFC North. And oh, by the way, in that week 1 that they played in 2023, they lost 24-3. To the Browns, and Joe Burrow at 82 passing yards. And every single season, the Cincinnati Bengals get off to a horrible start. Guys, the Bengals have not won in week number 1 since 2021. against the Minnesota Vikings. They have lost, 2022 they lost they've lost in week number 1 the last 4 years. 3 years. It's going to be 4. They don't win in week 1. They look horrible every year, and it's the same story every year with the Bengals. Oh, how can they catch up? How can they get back in the playoff race? Same old, same old. Browns probably win? I can't say that. The Browns, they're not equipped to win this football game. Browns cover. I don't care who wins. Actually, I hope the Browns win because I love Joe Flacco. But Browns cover. That's the bet you can take. Don't play money line either way. That's too close to call. Okay? Browns definitely cover, though. This game will be a competition. Browns plus 5.5 at home. That's way too many points. Next up, we go to Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. This is our Colts. This is our team. We love them. No, we don't. Okay, I'm not a Colts fan. Colts versus Dolphins. I understand the entire public's on the Miami Dolphins. I'm not. I'm going with the Colts. And I get it. You can be distracted by the fact, oh, Daniel Jones is their quarterback. Oh, AR didn't win the job. Well, because AR sucks. Sorry. Again, I'm not telling you that. The Indianapolis Colts are telling you that. They're telling you that the guy that they used the number 4 overall pick on, who's 23 years of age, who's got all the talent in the world, is not good enough to be their starting quarterback, and they'd rather start Daniel Jones instead. There's a reason for that. And then I like the outrage from Colts fans when it's, guys, you can't start a guy who taps himself out of a football game as the quarterback. You can't do it. You can't do it. Okay? So obviously, right, there's a reason why AR is not starting. It's because he's not as good as Daniel Jones. He's not a leader like Daniel Jones. And there's a reason Joe Flacco played over him last season. There's reasons to all of this, guys. Okay? I think AR still has all the talent in the world. I think if you get him on a different situation, maybe he's better. There's no future for AR in Indy, though. There's not. It just isn't. Daniel Jones is going to win them football games. I firmly believe that. I think Daniel Jones actually puts the Colts in a somewhat decent position to make the playoffs in 2025. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, he had a bad last year in New York. Had a bad 2023 in New York in the limited games he played in. Don't forget how productive Daniel Jones was in 2022 for the Giants. And I know what you're saying. Oh, well, that's 3 years ago. Well, AR's never had a good year, okay? Just in general. He was horrible last year, horrible in 2023. He got injured in 2023. Was not good in 2024. Was not great in 2023. Was never good at the University of Florida. That's why Daniel Jones is starting. And here's the thing now. You have a quarterback who can actually get the football to your franchise receiver, Michael Pittman, who didn't get the ball last year and didn't get the ball at all with AR at quarterback. There's a reason he was so much better with Joe Flacco. There's a reason he was so much better with Gardner Minshew. Because those guys can actually throw him the football. Daniel Jones is going to lock in on Michael Pittman the entire year. And now that only develops the long ball as well with Josh Downs and Alec Pierce. And I love the Tyler Warren pick. You get Tyler Warren obviously out of Penn State. He was the second best tight end in college football last year, only behind Harold Fannin. Tyler Warren, I guess, is looked at to be the better NFL tight end. Sure. I actually think Indianapolis can be solid this season. Their defense scares me. I'm not going to lie. That defense is not anything to write home about. We'll see what they do. I look at the Miami Dolphins, though, and this is why I think Indy wins here in week 1. The Dolphins last year, I don't care. Oh, Tua, they were better with Tua. They were still extremely underwhelming last year. For as much talent as they have offensively, they struggled last year. They struggled in so many spots in the road. Guys, I don't know if Tua won a single road game last year other than that random one they won in Los Angeles against the Rams. Yeah, it's the only road game they won with Tua last year. Was in Los Angeles, which, again, I still don't know how they did that. They have all the talent in the world, but you have Tyreek Hill, who's coming off an offseason where I guess he's practicing. I guess he's going to play, but he's coming off an offseason where he wanted to get traded. He wanted out. He hinted at it after the last game of last year in Week 18. He's still here. Jalen Waddle, I think, receiver 1 at this point now. Is he better than Tyreek? No, but I think Waddle's going to get a lot more targets this season. And then you got Devon Achane, who knows what's going on with Devon Achane. He's expected to play. He hopped on IG Live and did this for 10 minutes. He just stared at the camera. That's what he did. It was weird. I don't know. Okay. I guess he's going to play. I don't know. He's got a calf injury, guys. Did we not learn I thought we were going to be hella cautious now with calf injuries after Tyrese Halliburton, but guess we're not. I don't like it. I'm sure he could. Yeah, he can play. Yeah. Why not sit him 4 weeks? I know why they can't do that. Because Jalen Wright, their backup running back's injured, and Alexander Madison, their other back, is out on the IR. He's out for the entire year. You got Ollie Gordon, who did not have a good final year at Oklahoma State, so they're just thin. As a whole, I'm going Colts this week. I firmly believe Daniel Jones is going to take this team quite far this year. Now, it depends on what your definition of quite far is. I don't know if that's playoffs. I think that's second best in the AFC South and maybe competitive with the Texans. But I think it's good enough to win this game, guys. I don't think Miami's as good as people think they're going to be this year. They were not a good road team last season. I don't think anything changes right now. I believe in Daniel Jones. Again, you have an elite playmaker in Jonathan Taylor out your backfield. You've got talent. They just needed a quarterback to kind of put it all together because it's been an endless cycle of quarterbacks for years. You went from Phillip Rivers to Carson Wentz to Matt Ryan to Carson Wentz to Richardson to Minshew to Flacco, and now it's Daniel Jones. I just listed 7 quarterbacks who they've started in the last 5 years. Come on now. Jacoby Brissett, that's 8. I don't know. I think the Colts get this one done. -1.5. Next game, let's move to the NFC South showdown between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. It's the same thing every single year at the Falcons. This is their year. Oh, Michael Penix. I'm excited for him this year, but let's do it again with Kyle Pitts. Oh, this is the year for Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, guys, if you were lucky enough to draft Kyle Pitts in the first round of your fantasy draft this year, I'm afraid that you have definitely won your league. It's just how many years in a row are we going to do this with Atlanta? Seriously, how many years in a row are people going to fall for this trap? This is the Falcons' year to win the NFC South. I've heard this for the last 3 seasons, and it has never materialized into anything. Oh, Kirk Cousins was a solution. Now it's Michael Penix. I think Penix is really good. It's not enough to take this team in the playoffs. Do not forget last year the position the Falcons were in. Tampa was dead in the water last year, and they've been dead in the water in back-to-back years at this point, but they've still found ways to win the division, guys. Tampa loses in Dallas, and sure, they needed to win out because they were 4-6, but the Bucs win 4 consecutive games to get an 8-6. They go to Los Angeles and destroy the Chargers. We have them at plus money, by the way. They go on the road to Dallas on Sunday Night Football and somehow lose. Ball is in Atlanta's court. All they got to do is win out and you are in the playoffs. They then proceeded to lose out. They lost to the Commanders on Sunday night and they lost to the Panthers. Season's over. For as much as people rave about Michael Penix, he's 1-2 as a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think it gets forgotten how much Kirk actually started last year. Kirk started 15 games for this team last year. And you go to Penix and he's 1-2. Not sold. I like Michael Penix a lot. It's just, I cannot believe that the Falcons are seriously winning this division this year over the team that's won the division 4 straight years in Tampa Bay. They're definitely doing it again. They have only improved. Getting Emeka Egbuka is just such a crazy ad because now you have 3 receivers that are so difficult to guard. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin when he comes back, and Emeka Egbuka. Goodness, that's Bucky Irving's going to firmly establish himself as an elite running back in football this year. And oh, by the way, Teddy Bridgewater is here now? Okay. He got suspended from his high school coaching job, so here he is. He's in Tampa. All right, let's do it. You know, guys, I think we just need to talk about this is the winning pattern that Tom Brady has put together. You know, I am going to credit a lot of success that Tampa is having right now to Tom Brady. When you bring in Tom Brady to your football team, in 2020, you bring him in. You win the Super Bowl in 2020. 2021, you go to the NFC divisional round. You win the division. 2022, you win 8 games. You still win the division. Tom Brady put this team in the playoffs 3 straight years in a row. What have they done since they've gone to the playoffs in back-to-back years? They've won the NFC South in back-to-back years, and now they've done it in 4 straight seasons. It's a winning culture now that's in Tampa Bay, and it's a winning culture that's going to continue to stay in Tampa Bay because that winning culture that Tom Brady reflected on Mike Evans and Chris Godwin is now reflected on Baker Mayfield, and that's going to continue to reflect on every single player Baker Mayfield is going to continue to play with as he's the new franchise guy in Tampa Bay. That's why they got Tom Brady. It was beyond just the Super Bowl, yes, but now it's okay. Tampa's expected to be an elite team every single year. Before Tom Brady, they were bottom of the barrel every season. No disrespect to Jameis Winston, but they were stuck with Jameis as their quarterback, and they were in hell, essentially. They couldn't, they were a 6-win team every 7-win team every single year. And now they're winning division championships every single year. They've done a great job constructing this team. The defense at times can still get scary, especially with that secondary. They still have a lot of pieces from the championship team. Vita Vea, Levante David, Jamel Dean, who's back now, obviously, but Jamel Dean, Antoine Winfield, obviously Evans, Godwin, Wirfs. There's a lot of pieces from the Brady days still on the squad. They're going to beat Atlanta here. I'm not sold on the Falcons. I will never be sold on the Falcons. Bijan's great, yeah. Or who's buying this Drake London's a true receiver one thing? In terms of, like, he's a receiver one in fantasy, I kind of mean. But, like, I'm not... Guys, the receiving core is Drake London, Darnell Mooney, and Ray McLeod, and Kyle Pitts. That's not a serious contender. That's not a serious team that's going to win the division. Guys, the NFC South is the biggest lock ever for the Buccaneers, and this game will only solidify that. Remember how the Bucs lost in Atlanta last year on Thursday Night Football? And that horrible football game for Tampa? Yeah, they're not going into Atlanta and losing again, okay? Guys, it's a winning culture now in Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield has established what they do now in Tampa. The Bucs are winning this football game, and yes, Mike Evans is going to have over 1,000 yards once again. Okay, give me Tampa to go into Atlanta and win. I'm not impressed with the Falcons. This is a trap every single year that the Falcons are going to be legit. They are not, okay? Don't fall for it for the 5th season in a row, okay? More like 3rd. But yeah, give me Tampa to win, and they are definitely winning the division, 100%. Moving on now to the afternoon slate of games. We start in the Mile High City with the Denver Broncos and the Tennessee Titans. So I mentioned earlier in the video how highly I do believe and how highly I think of Denver, and that's for a very good reason. This team continues to load up on defense. Offensively, don't know how to feel. I think if they get a really good running back, they're going to be so good. Just because J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, backfield doesn't wow me. Bo Nix obviously still at quarterback. I firmly believe Bo Nix is going to continue to make strides of improvement. I think sophomore season Bo Nix will be much better. He had a very decent rookie campaign. I hated on Bo Nix a lot last year. I will not run from that. I will be transparent with you from where I was wrong last season. I did not think Bo Nix was going to be good. He is a franchise quarterback, and he's going to be in Denver for a very long time. He does everything they need him to do. Courtland Sutton is still a very good receiver in football. That will continue into 2025. But the reason, hey, they have Evan Ingram now at tight end. We're not talking about Denver because of their offense, though. I think Bo Nix is going to be more than serviceable for them. This defense, though, is just insane. Pat Surtain, guys, is the best cornerback in football. He does not get the recognition because he doesn't have a cool nickname like Sauce, even though I'd argue PS2 is like the coolest nickname that you could have. But you have Surtain, who's the best safety corner, not safety, the best corner in all of football. He is unthrowable. You can't throw his direction. He locks down every elite receiver in football. Jamar Chase, locked down. Garrett Wilson, locked down. You cannot beat this guy. Just can't. This week, Tennessee, Calvin Ridley, locked down. That's not that big of a matchup. But Denver's defense, man, it's a loaded group. And then you go in and add 2 49ers. You add Dre Greenlaw, and you add Talanoa Hufanga. I get it. Guys are coming off injuries. But at their best, Greenlaw and Hufanga are more than capable. Obviously, Hufanga, former All-Pro. Greenlaw, former Pro Bowler. For San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Greenlaw made the Pro Bowl at one point. Probably the Super Bowl year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Greenlaw was pretty damn good in 2022 and 2023. Okay? You have added 2 very good pieces to an already loaded defense. Again, I'm telling you, it's going to be difficult playing in Denver again. Just is. Back when Von Miller was here in 2015, 2014, where teams were scared to go into Denver, that's what's going to happen once again. Yes, sir. Tennessee. This is a 3-win, 4-win season for the Titans. I respect Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward. Will Levis obviously out for the year, so that decision is obvious. It's Cameron Ward as their starting quarterback. The Titans are the worst team in football. They did nothing in the offseason that makes you say, oh, Tennessee's going to be better this year. They might have the first pick in back-to-back years. They might. What have they done? They got Tyler Lockett. I mean, I don't know how every single washed receiver ever ends up in Tennessee. How does this always happen? Like, legitimately. Tyler Lockett, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins was here at one point. Randy Moss was here. Every washed receiver, Julio Jones, they all have to come to Tennessee. I don't know how this always happens every single season. Defense isn't good. Offense, I just hate this spot for Cam Ward, man. You're playing with a unk receiving core, and yeah, Van Jefferson looked good in the preseason, sure. You have 3 unks as your receivers. Ridley, Lockett, and Jefferson. Obviously, Lockett way older than the other 2. I was surprised Lockett's not with Vegas. That would have made so much sense. You know, yeah, they got Amari Cooper, but like Pete Carroll's there. I don't know why he didn't go there. Instead, he's here in Tennessee, and sure, he's number 2 in Tennessee. And they're going to be losing a lot of football games, so they're going to need to throw. Tony Pollard's still their back. It's an unction, man. I just hate it. I hate Cam Ward's first game going up to Denver elevation against this defense. Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal. Yeah, Broncos destroy the Titans. This is the easiest. If you're in a survivor pool, this is your pick this week. Broncos minus 420. They absolutely destroy the Tennessee Titans. And yes, they cover 7.5. They're going to win the game by 20-ish points, I firmly believe. Yeah, Denver's just that good and Tennessee's that bad. Broncos are going to look great in week 1. Next up, we move to a matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. It's an NFC West matchup at Lumen Field in Seattle, Washington. I'm going with the 49ers. I'm going with the 49ers to beat the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not fully buying into, San Francisco's back. The Niners are going to be elite this season. No, I don't even think they're winning their division, okay? I think that's going to be the Los Angeles Rams. I'll get to Matt Stafford, I believe, either the next game or the game after that, okay? I'm not buying into San Francisco this year. Yes, you return a healthy Christian McCaffrey, and he is the key to this season. If Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, the Niners are going to be in a great spot. If he gets hurt, you can just chalk the season again. George Kittle is still potentially the best tight end in football. Great. You have a receiving core, though, that needs work. You lose Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk is out and out for the foreseeable future. Jawan Jennings, I don't believe, is playing the first couple weeks. No, he's back. Still, though, your receiving core is Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall. Pearsall, obviously, the first-round pick from Florida last year. Dealt with some stuff, got shot last year. He's now playing, obviously. Came back last season. Pearsall's a talent, don't get me wrong. Just Pearsall and Jennings, though, I don't love it. Sky Moore, not a capable receiver, really. Russell Gage is kind of old at this point. Played with Tom Brady in Tampa. Okay. Gage is 29. They're just so injured still. They are. I mean, this entire team, look at their depth chart right now. Everybody's hurt. Even the defense dealing with a bunch of injuries. They'll be fine. They're going to beat Seattle. I don't immediately think, the Niners are back, okay? Purdy gets the extension. Good on him, right? Brock deserves it. They're taking on the Seahawks in Seattle. Another team that I'm not sold on. And I know, again, I'm telling you I'm not sold on a bunch of teams. Well, no, there are teams that I like, right? I talked about the Chargers. I like them this year. I like the Broncos this year. Who else do I like? I like the Commanders, like the Bucks a lot. I'm not negative about every team. I'm not buying what I guess Seahawks fans are selling us with the Seahawks this season. Ooh, we got Sam Darnold. I think Darnold's in a position to be very successful. I just question the targets he has beyond Jackson Smith and Jigba. We know JSN's going to be very good. What is Cooper Kupp going to be? Is he primed for a bounce back year? I don't know. He's 32. Kupp had the worst year of his career last year. Now he's home in Washington. He went to the University of Eastern Washington. Last year, guys, Cooper Kupp was very mediocre. 700 yards, 6 touchdowns. Obviously, he took the back seat to Puka Nacua last year in Los Angeles, who was a top 5 receiver in all of football. But what will Kupp be this year? I don't know. Seattle's defense does not wow me. You got DeMarcus Lawrence on your defense now. A 33-year-old DeMarcus Lawrence, Reek Woolen's good, obviously. Kobe Bryant can be, he can't be all right at the safety position. You got Julian Love. It's just, I'm not sold. I'm not sold in Seattle. San Francisco's better. They are. I think 2.5 is kind of, I'm not going to call it highway robbery, but it's a good line. It's an amazing line. They will cover this. Guys, San Francisco last year had a horrible year. It was a terrible year for the Niners. They could not stay healthy. Couldn't win games. What do they still do? They still went into Seattle and beat this team on prime time. And yeah, it's different, right? Sam Darnold's the quarterback instead of Geno Smith. I think it's a good move for Seattle. I think Darnold can be a perfect bridge quarterback to eventually their next franchise guy, because obviously Darnold's probably not the franchise guy. But he can give you good 2-3 years. And no, Jalen Milroe's not the franchise guy, by the way. Ken Walker, he's good. Not elite, though. It's just, and that's the story of the Seahawks this year. Good, not elite. Well, offensively, defense, not great. Okay? The Niners will be able to have their way in this game. Again, the reemergence or the re-addition of Christian McCaffrey to your team makes you infinitely better. Just what he is. He's an elite player in the sport. There's a reason, again, there's a reason he's on the cover of Madden. There's a reason, they traded first-round picks for the guy. He's that good, okay? A healthy McCaffrey puts the Niners in a great position, and they will beat the Seattle Seahawks. They will go on the road, and they will dominate Seattle at Lumen Field. Next up, we go to the NFC North showdown. The best division in football is undoubtedly the NFC North. These two teams, and you get Vikings and Bears on Monday. So again, the NFC North is elite. You get the Lions, you get the Packers, and you get the Vikings. Like, it is a great division, and the Bears are there too, I guess. Taking the Lions to win Week 1 in Green Bay. The Lions owned the Packers last season. They will do it again this year. I don't know why we're down on the Lions. Oh, you lose your coordinator, sure. What talent did they really lose? All of the key pieces are still here. The O-line is still elite. The defense, a healthy Lions defense this year, is still really good. I think the story of the Lions year last year was, it definitely was. They go to the play, they're 15-2, but you lose in the first round of the playoffs. Are we going to talk about how injured this team was? Jared Goff is still a top 5 quarterback in football. Okay? But probably, okay, I have to retract that this year. Top 7. Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, Lamar, Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff. That was no order, by the way. That was just the first 7 guys, okay? They were so hurt last year. They were so injured last year. They lose to the Commanders. That's a good football team. I think the fact that the Lions, this might be a hot take, the fact that the Lions have one of the toughest schedules in football is actually going to help them this year. Because they got stuck playing so many meaningless games last year where they're blowing teams out. The games against Jacksonville and Tennessee and Detroit, they were over at halftime. And every week the Lions were 16.5 point favorites. That's different this year. Every week now is a dogfight for the Lions, and I think that really is going to help them. They go to Green Bay week 1. Chicago next week at home is going to be, one-way traffic. Then to Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Tampa. Then the bye week. That's brutal. But that's going to help Detroit this year because now they can get into dogfights every single week. And that's only, by the way, going to improve Jared Goff's numbers. I think Goff is a dark horse for MVP this season. Jahmyr Gibbs is the best position player in football this year. He is. Like, he's going to be the number 1 fantasy player this year. He's just that good. And they're using him at the slot now, too. My goodness. Amon-Ra St. Brown's still an elite receiver in football, too. They're still really good. Jameson Williams is still here. Like, this is a good football team. David Montgomery, now fully healthy. The defense, fully healthy. Yeah, you lose your coordinators. You lose Ben Johnson in Chicago. You lose Aaron Glenn to New York. I'm not too concerned. The Lions are still going to be really good. Again, don't forget last year, Lions beat the Packers twice. Now, the Lions only lost 2 times all year long last year to the Bucs and to the Bills, both of which in Detroit. They did not lose on the road last year. That's another thing. They didn't lose on the road. Beat the Packers. Saying that they own them is kind of an overstatement, but that game in Lambeau last year, they beat them pretty bad. It was 24-3 at halftime, 21-3 at halftime. The final score was 24-14. The Lions win big games. They do. Green Bay this season, you get Micah Parsons. I don't know if Micah Parsons is playing week 1 or not. I just have no idea if he's playing. If he is, great. If he's not, that's kind of expected. They've got a deep receiver core, but the problem with Green Bay has always been, and it still is, like, you have a great receiving core. It's so deep, but there's no elite guy. I mean, I can name off all these, just talented receivers, but there's no, true number 1. You have Matthew Golden, who you picked out of Texas, obviously, who's wearing number 22, right? No, he's wearing, what number is he wearing? He's wearing like a 20. Is he wearing 20 on the dot? He's wearing 0. Why did I think he was wearing 20? I'm tripping. Anyways, you have him, you have Jaden Reed, you have Dontavion Wicks. You've got a bunch of guys. Like, again, you've got players. There's no true number 1 receiver. Same with your tight ends. You got Tucker Kraft, you got Luke Musgrave. Obviously, Kraft is better than Musgrave, but you just have so many good receivers. It's a deep core. It's not a great core, though, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not an elite guy. Sure, the defense, right? You add Micah Parsons. That's great, right? Add him to an already loaded defense. Josh Jacobs, elite running back in the sport. One of my first round fantasy pick this year. We're hoping he comes through. I had to pick Josh Jacobs. Like, there was nothing else, so I kind of got forced with taking Jacobs. I'm hoping this year Jordan Love's good. I'm not as high on Jordan Love as a lot of people are. I do think he's still a very effective and good quarterback. And yes, the defense loaded. Micah Parsons, Devontae Wyatt, Rashawn Gary, Xavier McKinney, Keyshawn Nixon, Isaiah McDuffie, Quay Walker, Javon Bullard. That's a deep defense. Who's the best offense in football? The Detroit Lions. I mean, this is good on good. This is what this game is. My thing is, though, I saw Detroit beat Green Bay twice last season. Why won't they do it again? Nothing changes from last year. Yes, you lose your coordinators. They still have the same key pieces. You still have Goff. You still got Gibbs, who's only getting better. Amon-Ra as well. Defense is healthy now. Lions are prepared to win the Super Bowl this season, okay? Last year, they fell short. Yeah. They're going to be the number 1 seed. They're going to play a lot of tough games this year, and they're going to be well equipped to win in January this time around. Lions beat the Packers, and this is the start of Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions Super Bowl campaign in 2025. On to our final afternoon game before we get into Sunday night and Monday night football. We have got the Houston Texans going to Los Angeles to take on the Los Angeles Rams. Taking the Rams. I think the Rams are one of the best teams in the NFC. I know that, the whole joke around Twitter and whatnot is that Matthew Stafford hasn't been alive. He's actually there's a body double of Matthew Stafford because he hasn't practiced all off season and nobody's actually seen Matthew Stafford. Obviously it's a little over exaggerated. Stafford has been seen, but it's just like, I don't know. What do we expect out of Stafford in 2025? I don't know. If Stafford is just any bit of what he has been the last 3 years, except for the injury year, obviously, the Los Angeles Rams are winning the NFC West, and I don't think that's even a conversation. I think they'll easily win the NFC West. Do we not forget who Matthew Stafford is? He's 37, he's old, and he is expected to start this week. Do we not forget what Stafford does every single year? He puts his team in positions to win. Every single year Matthew Stafford has been healthy, the Los Angeles Rams have made the playoffs. That's what's happening this year. 2021 Super Bowl. 2023 playoffs, lose to the Lions. 2024 playoffs, losing the divisional round to the Philadelphia Eagles. They were that close to going to Philadelphia and winning. And my goodness, what does that change? That means they go to the Super Bowl and maybe win it. Maybe win it if they could beat Philadelphia. Because I think they would have beaten Washington in LA. Probably. Anyways, they're taking on the Houston Texans. No Joe Mixon. It is Nick Chubb as the starting running back in week number 1. Interesting. Nico Collins is back. He was elite in the first half of the year last year before the injury. You add Christian Kirk to the receiving core, obviously, with Tank Dell being out for at least the first half of the year. Defense is solid. It's good. It's not great, is what I will say. Last year, I came on here pretty early in the season and proclaimed that the Texans were not going to be good in 2025. And I think I was kind of close with that take. I mean, yeah, they made the playoffs. They won the AFC South, but that's the worst division in football. If the Colts were worth the damn, they would win it, but they're not. The Texans had the division won legitimately in week number 9. It's just because of how bad the rest of the teams were in that division. But I accurately predicted the CJ Stroud fall off in 2024. I thought he had a great first year, but I figured that defenses were going to figure him out in 2024, and they did. CJ Stroud was nowhere near what he was in 2023. Still had 3,000 yards, but 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Had 3,700 yards. And sure, he lost Nico Collins fairly early in the year after the first 12 games and lost Tank Dell. But there was some pretty clear regression, at least because of how good CJ Stroud was in 2023. What will he be in 2025? I don't know. No Joe Mixon's going to hurt. I don't know what Nick Chubb coming off of multiple knee surgeries is going to be. I legitimately could not tell you what he's going to be in 2025. What I can tell you though is that the Rams are definitely beating the Texans at home. 100% they are. Okay. Again, do not forget who Matthew Stafford is. Do not forget this offense has now added Devontae Adams. I get it. He wasn't great in New York. You add this guy, Devontae Adams, guys, hasn't played winning football since he left Green Bay. And that's partially his fault because he wanted to leave, and then he was like, he was more than okay with going to Vegas, and he wanted to go to New York to play for the Jets. That is partially his fault. It is. But he's in a winning situation now. The Rams, all they do is win. All they do is go to the postseason. It's been, again, we talk about culture change with Tom Brady, and obviously nothing will ever change the culture as more than Brady did in Tampa, but that's what Matthew Stafford does in Los Angeles. You're expected to win now. And obviously the Rams are probably due for a rebuild soon. And I legitimately believe This is the last year of their run. We'll see what they can do at Puka. I firmly believe Puka Nacua is a top 5 receiver in football. He's coming off of a unfortunate offseason, I'll say that. I'm praying for the guy. When he's healthy, and he needs to stay healthy, but when he's on the field, yes, Puka Nacua is a top 5 receiver in football. Devontae Adams on top of that makes you dangerous. Defense, we'll see. Jared Verse, I know, again, is an elite player in football. He is. Jared Verse is one of the best defensive players in all of the NFL. The rest of the defense can get scary. We'll see what the Rams do. I don't think the Texans go into Los Angeles and win this game. I'm going Rams money line and Rams spread -3 for the Rams, -145 to get it done and win. Give me the Rams. Ram it. All day and all night. Okay. On to Sunday Night Football. Bills versus Ravens. Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson. It is a rematch of the AFC divisional round last year in Buffalo, the same exact location in Orchard Park, New York, a game that was won by the Buffalo Bills. This is hard to pick because you know how much better the Baltimore Ravens are in the regular season compared to the postseason, right? This is a team year in and year out. They're great in the regular season. They're a team that, they've got hype going into the playoffs, and then they get there and they can't execute at all. And you can say the same thing about the Bills, but the Bills just run into Patrick Mahomes every year. And last year, let's not forget how that game was officiated in the AFC Championship game. Let's not forget that, by the way. Okay, the Bills should have had that game. Josh Allen had the first down on the QB sneak. That's neither here or there. The Bills should have gone to the Super Bowl. It's okay, right? But this is the thing with this game, right? Ravens, great regular season team. Bills still have not put the pieces together around Josh Allen. And you know what this season is going to be yet again. It's Josh Allen trying to take his team as far as physically possible. I think it needs to be applauded every single year, especially last year, how far Josh Allen took them. They should have been in the Super Bowl with a team led by, beyond Allen, James Cook, who's good, but then a receiving core of Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, and company. And this year, what is their receiving core? Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Joshua Palmer, Elijah Moore, Curtis Samuel, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox. Why does this team never go out and get talent in the receiving core? Their defense, better this year. You get Joey Bosa. First time Bosa's been away from Southern California in the NFL. Here he is now playing for the Bills. Tre'Davious White's only getting older, but he's still a corner for this team, obviously. You got Taylor Rapp in the secondary now. You got Dorian Williams, another corner for the squad. It's a decent defense. It's a good defense. The offense is just going to be a Josh Allen carry job yet again. I don't know why they don't put pieces around him. I would have liked even Devontae Adams here. I would have just a clear number one. Instead, you are relying on Josh Allen to take you to the promised land, and only Josh Allen to take you to the promised land. Their running back core, yes, James Cook can be good. Ray Davis and Ty Johnson are going to get touches and snaps as well. But obviously, everything is dependent on what Josh Allen can do. And him being the best player in the NFL and being the best quarterback in all of football, it doesn't get stated enough. And that's why he won the MVP last year, because look at the team he did it with. Lamar Jackson, you will hear complaints about how Jackson doesn't have receivers. That's fair. Zay Flowers has been a consistent, or at least he's been a Pro Bowl receiver. Zay Flowers has caught for over 1,000 yards in seasons past. Okay, last year had over 1,000 yards, albeit only over by 60 yards. But at least he has a number one, and it's Zay. And is Zay a traditional number one receiver in the NFL? No. But there's way more in this Baltimore offense than there is for Buffalo. Derrick Henry's still in the backfield. What is Rashad Bateman going to be? What is DeAndre Hopkins going to be? I don't know. Isaiah Likely maybe out week one. That's fine. Mark Andrews, I guess, will do the job for now. This O-line is still one of the best in football. Ronnie Staley, Andrew Voorhees, Tyler Linderbaum, Daniel Fale, Roger Rosengarten. I mean, that is a very good O-line. Joe Noteboom is your sixth lineman, essentially, who can fill in when you need him to. That's a really good offensive line. Their defense, still very great. Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks, you add Jair Alexander, Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Van Noy, who's unk, but he's still around, Roquan Smith. Owe. There's so many good defensive pieces. And with all of that being said, the Bills are still going to win because of Josh Allen. They have the best player on the field, and the best player on the field is going to push his team to a win. Oh, by the way, the game's in Buffalo. I'm taking the Bills here. I'm taking the Bills because, again, Josh Allen's the best player in the NFL. That is the number one reason why I'm going with the Bills here. Doesn't matter who's around him. Josh Allen is a winner, and he finds ways to win. Watch last year when Josh Allen goes into Detroit and beats the Lions, where Ty Johnson's his leading receiver with 115 yards. Watch him go to Los Angeles to play the Rams and almost come out that game with a victory with no help. Combined 500 yards total all purpose for Josh Allen. He does nothing but win. This is his year, I think, in the AFC. It has to be his year. But I don't know, they still didn't give him help. Didn't give him help. Last year in the regular season on Sunday Night Football, right, the Ravens do beat the Bills. Game was at M&T Bank. It was in Baltimore. It's in Buffalo this time around. It's just different. Josh Allen is different himself. Best quarterback in the NFL. And Josh Allen, being that best quarterback in the NFL, will find a way to victory. Give me the Buffalo Bills to win at home in Buffalo. That makes the biggest difference for me, honestly. I know, again, Lamar's a better player in the regular season. I get that. Taking the Buffalo Bills to win, though. Don't forget, Ravens lost in week 1 last year to the Chiefs on prime time. I'm taking the Bills to win on prime time on Sunday Night Football. Final game of the week, let's go to Chicago, Illinois, Soldier Field. The Chicago Bears host the Minnesota Vikings. Why are the Vikings only a 1.5-point favorite in this game? I don't understand it. This is one of my favorite bets of the entire week. We will have our best bets again out probably on Saturday. I can almost guarantee you this is going to be on the video. I love Vikings money line here. It makes all the sense in the world. Vikings minus 125 is an automatic play for me, okay? I'm not going to be fooled with the Chicago Bears again. Oh, Ben Johnson's your head coach. Ben Johnson, to me, feels like a tremendous offensive coordinator, but a guy who's just not going to work as a head coach. Nothing against the guy. That's just the vibes I get. I get Josh McDaniels vibes in Ben Johnson. The Bears add Luther Burden. He replaces Keenan Allen essentially as a third receiver. It's DJ Moore, obviously, Romo Dunze from the UW, and then Luther Burden, obviously, from Missouri. What will Caleb Williams be in 2025? I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know what Caleb Williams is going to be in his second season as the starting quarterback of the Bears. Last year, he was good, not great. I think, ultimately what the Bears suffered from was just a lack of help around Caleb Williams, a lack of a run game and a bad offensive line, and Caleb Williams, simply put, just tried to do too much. I think he realized very quickly he wasn't at Oklahoma anymore, he wasn't at USC anymore, and he can't just completely create for his own by dropping backs, running in circles and trying to just evade defensive linemen, because again, this is the National Football League. The Bears were a pretty distant number 3 last year in the division, obviously, right? All 3 of the other teams went to the postseason. The Bears here last year basically ended by losing to the Washington Commanders. They were 4-2, about to be 5-2, and yet Jalen Daniels obviously just ended their season with the Hail Mary to Noah Brown. Bears go from 4-2 to 4-12. Yes, 10 consecutive losses, and that it all starts with their loss at FedEx Field to the Washington Commanders. They started 4-2 last year. It was a padded 4-2, sure. Best one was against the Rams, but Titans, Panthers, Jags were the other 3 victories. Then again, they lose 10 games in a row. And their offense just could not move the ball. It's that simple. They couldn't move. Couldn't move the football. Williams would have his nights, but they were too far in between. Far and few in between is what I'm going for there. Thank you. They played competitive games in the NFC North, but they would just come out on the wrong side of things. Guys, they played a game in Week 12 last year against the Minnesota Vikings, very competitively, in Chicago, right? Goes into overtime. Caleb throws for 340 yards. The team still loses the game. Minnesota wins in an OT 30-27. They then turn that around quickly to a Thanksgiving spot against the Detroit Lions. Very competitive game. Should have had a field goal at the end to potentially tie it. Bad clock management. They lose the game by 3 points. Story of their season. The Thursday night game, Week 17, against the Seattle Seahawks, they lose 6-3. Couldn't get the ball moving the entire game. What changes this season for this team? Oh, okay, you add Luther Burden. Romo Dunze is going to be better. I get that. I'm not impressed yet with the Bears. Look at the Minnesota Vikings. Guys, I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to be just as good. I think so. Jordan Addison out for the first 3 games? 4 games. 3 or 4 games. Not sure. So Adam Thielen's the number 2 receiver for now. That's fine. Thielen's back home. Guys, J.J. McCarthy's poised for a great season in 2025. Oh, I believe it. You could not have asked for a better situation to come into the league into the league with than what J.J. McCarthy got with the Minnesota Vikings. There's nothing better. You got put on a playoff team. You got to sit a year behind it. Sam Darnold, who was a very good quarterback last year, but the franchise and obviously the team said, you know what? You're our guy. We're not moving on. We're screw Darnold. We've got our franchise quarterback here in the organization with the franchise. You enter a team that now has Justin Jefferson, or still has Justin Jefferson, obviously the best receiver in football, if not Jamar Chase, it's Justin Jefferson. Aaron Jones can still get it done at the running back position. You have Jordan Addison once he comes off suspension. And now you added Adam Thielen alongside your starting tight end of TJ Hawkinson. And you have a veteran mentor now in Carson Wentz to company alongside Max Brostner, the rookie out of the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. Defense is solid. You've got guys in this defense. Still, sure, Unc Harrison Smith is still here, but I mean, there are players throughout this defense that can be really impactful for the Minnesota Vikings. And I firmly believe in J.J. McCarthy being one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in all of football this season. I have fully bought into the hype this year. Don't forget, he's 22 years of age. It was not a bad thing. He had to sit out his 21-year-old season. And don't forget, this guy does nothing but win football games. We saw it at Michigan, and we're going to see it with the Vikings this year as well. He will walk into Chicago, and the Vikings will win this football game. They are simply just better than the Chicago Bears, and J.J. McCarthy will probably be the Rookie of the Year this year. Give me Minnesota Vikings money line in Chicago, and nothing has changed for the Bears. Same old Bears. Give me J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings to walk into Soldier Field and come out with a victory in the NFC North. Folks, thank y'all for watching our Week 1 predictions here for the NFL in 2025. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to join us next week for more NFL predictions. Make sure to join us for our college football predictions linked in the description down below. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.